Yeah. I just finished watching a highlight on one of my pages called Phoenix Moments, and I'm kind of gonna follow up to that with these Thought Diaries, the next three. So, first one I'm gonna start off with is Atlanta because that highlight was talking about Atlanta. And then I'm gonna do Oklahoma because that's where that's my family from. And then I'm gonna do Nigeria, Lagos specifically, because that's where my family from. That's where my other family, my dad. Okay, Atlanta. Excuse me. Getting over sickness. Okay, so that highlight was very interesting to watch and kind of painful to watch, but also like I get it. Like I get it, me. I get it, Miriam. We are here, okay? But I have new opinions about what I was going through that time, what I was going through in that time. And about Atlanta, okay? So I really resonate with, I don't know the exact quote, but basically I resonate with what Tyler, the Creator, said in whatever interview that was. I feel like he said it multiple times, but it's like sometimes you have to leave your hometown to appreciate what it gives you. I find myself in that a lot. Mostly, I'm pretty sure it has to do with systematic racism and poverty. Because that is my reaction to the systematic racism that is ingrained in the city of Atlanta and the poverty that I experienced living in, growing up, becoming an adult in Atlanta. I'm trying to make this as like cohesive as possible. I'm unmedicated. But and I don't have any mushrooms to help me think about what I want to say and be clear. It helps me with that. Anyway, yeah, me experiencing my response to experiencing poverty in Atlanta, my response to systematic racism in Atlanta, is where's community? Why is nobody reaching out? People keep talking about community. Nobody fucking responds. People keep talking about community. People that I be around actually don't like communication. Like, they actually don't like it. Like, they don't want to talk. They don't want to text. They don't want to talk. They don't want to be on social media. They don't want to, like, I don't know. But, in Atlanta, in Georgia, I'm going to just say in Georgia, it's kind of important to have a car. And I am not someone that grew up with a car. This is kind of touching base with the poverty side. And systematic racism because, like, just, there's so much. I don't even know how, I don't have a script to, like, go into detail, but, like, I didn't grow up with a car because my mother had a disability, right? So, a seeing disability, one that would prevent you from operating a motor vehicle, and money was tight. And when I got older, there was no one to teach me. When I got older in high school, we didn't have shit more than just a car. But like, what I was experiencing in high school was really prepped me for the rest of what I experienced as a young adult, as far as like struggling to stay up, struggling to keep a place, struggling to, right? So, didn't have a car. In Georgia, you really need a car. if you don't have a car, you have to stay in like Metro Atlanta. It becomes difficult for you to, like, if you have a job anywhere else. And then like zoning in Atlanta is fucking, we not even go there. We not even go there about zoning. But yeah, that's what I was experiencing. So like high school, young adulthood, I couldn't, I had to depend on MARTA. If it wasn't in Metro Atlanta, I wasn't going. In my, like, after college, went to college in England, thanks to my dad, through the help and the assistance of my dad, of my Nigerian father, I was able to go to college, university, they call it, in England. Where was I going with that? Right. I had, after college in England, after that experience, after being immersed, because I talked about being immersed in other cities, which I am right now. Hey! I talked about being immersed in other cities. And I want to come back to the video. So much. It's so much that I want to say. Anyway, I talked about being immersed in other cities, and that whole England experience was an experience. But after that, coming back home, having to stay home because of coronavirus and the lockdowns, I got back on that cycle that led up to this thread, this highlight on my page. This highlight on my page, yes, I'm pointing to me. This is me and me. But it led up to that highlight on my page of like having to operate on MARTA, operate on public transportation system for people that may come across this and not be in Atlanta or familiar with Atlanta. I found myself having to depend on public transportation, and sometimes I would have jobs that were not in Metro Atlanta, or I would be outside of Metro Atlanta because that's the cheapest place to be, or because I have a friend that's trying to help me out, or an acquaintance that's trying to help me out, because not all these people was my friends that was trying to help me out. Let's just keep it real and 100 in the butt. I would be living outside and need to come inside, and that has caused me to lose a lot of jobs. Okay? So, back to the poverty. This is the poverty side. It's so funny. It's so funny because one of my coworkers is like, oh my gosh, I got family workers. I got family members who are in Atlanta. And they were like, people in Atlanta just don't want to work and want to be lazy. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, that doesn't sound right. Like, are we like the gatekeepers? And I'm like, yes, bitch, you're the gatekeepers. Yes, you are. But no, like, I think I wanted to come back and correct some things that I said about immersing. Okay, I was conflating, right? I was conflating being immersed in another city and being impoverished in Atlanta through systematic racism and gatekeeping. With being alone and not having community, because I was asking for help, and the help that I was getting help. Don't get me wrong, I was getting help, but the help that I was getting was draining to my personality, to my person. A lot of boundaries were being stepped on, and I was at the time figuring out how to speak those and how to place those boundaries in ways that I hadn't had them before. And a lot of people that were helping me were people that I knew when I was going through the initial, like, homeless, like, no car, like, experiencing growing up, experiencing hormones, experiencing becoming a teenager, in all this bullshit and like learning like, oh, this is a part of life, this poverty shit. You know, trying to get past it, trying to figure out the best way to get past it, trying to figure out the best way to live my life the most authentic way that I can, and being faced with that. These are people that were around me during this time of, I should say, trauma, where this trauma was birthed, you know. So I'm always grateful, and I know that everybody's a human, and I wish the best for everybody. But where my ground stop is where a lot of people like to fucking step on. So just call it what it is. You know, I was sacrificing a lot of myself just trying to get help. There's a card in the archetype deck. This is probably gonna be long as hell. There's a card in the archetype deck called the prostitute. And it is not necessarily like, it's prostitution, but it's like sacrificing yourself for the cost of anything. Survival. What are you sacrificing to survive, essentially? I wish I had that deck with me. But if I go in my room, I definitely won't be able to say what I'm trying to say, how I'm trying to say it. So I was conflating. Lack of community and communication to not being at home. Being at home. I was conflating being at home, being in Atlanta, with lack of community and lack of communication. And that's just not true. So I had to come on here and respond to that and correct it. I'm going to keep it there. Actually, I might even link it. I might. Because, like I said, it's not my proudest moment. But I understand where I'm coming from, so I'm not beating myself up. Which is why I think I might link it, maybe. Actually, I won't, because I already post my socials. Just go on my socials, click on my first highlight. That's what it is. It's going to be there. But yeah, I was conflating those two, and that's not at all what it is, because I'm immersed in another city. I'm immersed in another city, and it's possible that I will be going back home or like going to another city. And I just got back from coming home. I have community at home. That's what I learned this past time. Like, I have community at home, and I've always had community at home, but we were separated. We were all doing the immersion thing in our own ways, in our own facets. Some of us a little bit more understanding of like home as for what it is, not like as a community, not conflating community and home. And some on the same journey as me, you know? These are my closest people that I still am close to this day. So yeah, like everything that I said besides the like community part, I mean, that's still true. Like, and I feel like I want to talk about that. Maybe I might do a part 2, because I wanted to do Oklahoma and I wanted to do Nigeria next, but I might do a part 2 and then I'll do Oklahoma and Nigeria, because I was born in Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta. I was raised in Atlanta. So I'll probably do a part 2 for the community and the what I was talking about in that video, as far as like people don't like to communicate, and people like a lot of surface level shit that I just can't get down with, and I will never fucking get down with. Like, I'm standing on that. I'm standing 10 toes down for that. But Atlanta is home. On the other side, Atlanta is home, and I think I said it in the highlight. I love Atlanta because it's a whole bunch of shit to do. I love Atlanta because 15 minutes, you at a park everywhere you fucking turn. I love Atlanta for nature. I love Atlanta for the local shops that you can go to. I love Atlanta for all the niggas that you see around. And by niggas, I do mean black people, not just men. Don't nobody give a fuck about y'all right now. We're not talking about you. I just love Atlanta. I really do. And I said that in the last one, but I was like so hell-bent impressed and like fucking side-eyeing the motherfuckers that I have been in connection with around me, because I wasn't for fucking sure, because like motherfuckers really don't like to communicate, that I was conflating the two. And that was a mistake. And I can see that. And now I am correcting myself. Amen. I'm going to come back for number 2. I'm going to talk about communication. I saw a term for it on Instagram recently, reaching in instead of reaching out. I have been reaching in to a lot of motherfuckers that do not give a fuck about me. And that's what created that Phoenix moment. I'm going to keep it there because I know that I'm going to have a lot more Phoenix moments. And that's my Phoenix moment highlight. So, yeah, I'll be back for part 2 of ATL, Thought Diary ATL. And we're going to get into this communication thing. I think I might spend a little bit of time. I might do a little bit of looking back at old entries, journal entries. I have Zen writer entries. A little bit of research on the things that I've been experiencing so I can like hone in on that topic of community and communication and really wrap up that Phoenix moment. That's on the highlight right now. But yeah, I'm finna go finish watching motherfucking Supernatural. Speaking of fucking systematic racism, bitch, that show is so motherfucking racist. And I was just talking about this with a coworker because I'm watching it. I want to watch it to completion. Like about Lovecraft, how they canceled Lovecraft Country, and fucking that could have been our fucking Supernatural. But anyway. I'm gonna post this so I can finish this racist ass Supernatural.